A few moments later.
Having you here, that means we have got hope that everything will come soon. Better. So thank you for coming, and I wish you a pleasant time here in Bethlehem. May God bless you, and let's go now. I suggested to the pastor here to go first to Community Growth before the close, and then we come back to the church.
Here we are, Bethlehem.
Bethlehem.
Welcome everybody.
Oh my God.
This is our first time here after the coronavirus. Here in Bethlehem, we open. Tara na mga guys, enjoy watching. At punta tayo ngayon dyan sa Church of Nativity, kung saan ipinanganak si Jesus.
Hi, how are you?
Hawa. So guys, pumunta dyan sa Church of Nativity. Papasyal dyan. Punta ngayon sa Bethlehem. Papasyalan natin kung saan ay panganak si Jesus. Okay guys, stay tuned. Pasyal tayo doon.
Christmas bells. Bethlehem, white tasty.
Okay guys.
Here. Where's Pastor Aries? Pastor?
Yes.
Would you like to propose the picture or what?
Okay, let me try. Can you hold it in push? Now, if you would like to have, we could have a group picture and you want to have order, parang tulong nyo na rin sa kanila, no? So we can have a group picture. Ibrahim, it's okay now? You go? Okay.
Okay guys, let's go. Punta na tayo dyan sa loob ng church. Tingnan natin yung place kung saan ay panganak si Jesus. Okay, enjoy watching. Wow, okay guys, dito tayo dyan sa loob. Okay guys, nandito tayo sa loob ng Church Nativity, kung saan may panganak si Jesus.
So before we go to visit the place of birth of our Savior Jesus Christ, I would like now to start explaining about this, to start the explanation about this holy place. Are we all here now? The first question to everybody: where are we now?
Church.
Church of Nativity. So who was born here?
Jesus.
Are you sure about that?
Yes.
Why?
This is history.
What evidence have you got?
You're going to tell me.
Okay, I will. I asked you, are you sure? You said yes. We are sure. 99.99% about the exact place. If he was born in Bethlehem, we are sure about that. But we are saying about the spot, about the star. Now we are going to see a star made by 14 points. Why 14? It reminds us about the 14 generations from Abraham to David, from David to to the exile in Babylon, from the exile to Saint Joseph, 14, 14, 14. You remember that? So that's a connection to say all the Old Testament were completed by the birth of Jesus Christ here in Bethlehem. And then they made also 14 stations of where the cross in Jerusalem. Number 14, it is the resurrection of Jesus Christ. So that means not only the birth, but the resurrection, which our faith was based on. Right?
Yes.
So why are we sure? 135 AD, that was the time of the Roman persecution of the people who were living here. That was the time of Adrian, the empire Adrian, a Roman empire, who was living here. And of course he was persecuting the Christians and the Jews and all the people who were not Christians or Jews. He was not happy at all about the Christians who were commemorating the birth of Jesus Christ over here. So he arrived here and he decided to build an paganism temple in the exact place where those Christians were commemorating the birth of Jesus Christ. And he thought by building that temple, the coming generations would forget, because he thought the coming generations would say, it is a paganism temple, of course, nothing to do for the Christians, right? That's what he thought. But he never expected that the local Christians in this area would see the paganism temple in a different way. They started saying, the paganism temple which was built by Adrian, that means exactly where Jesus Christ was born. So instead of cancelling the traces of birth, in indirect way, he confirmed that. 135 until Saint Helen. Saint Helen, she was the mother of Constantine, the Emperor Constantine. 328. The first thing that she looked for was the paganism temple. When she found the paganism temple over here, she said, Jesus Christ could be born a meter ahead or a meter behind, but he must be born inside this cave. And that's when she started building the first church. And the only remains that we have got from the first church are those mosaics. Please have a look at them. The mosaic, the first floor, the first area, it is 328.
328.
That means all the floor of this church was made like this. Really beautiful, right? Good. So you continue taking pictures and I will continue to explain. 328, she started building the first church. Unfortunately, it was burned and damaged, not completely destroyed, by the Samaritans. Who are the Samaritans? Do you remember them?
Yes.
Have you been to Shechem, to Nablus?
Ken.
Good. The Samaritans is now they are not a lot of people. There are only about 800, 750 people. And of course they have got some differences between Jews and Samaritans. They only believe of the first 5 books in the Old Testament, while the Jews, they believe in all the Old Testament, 48 books. But that doesn't matter. Anyway, they were persecuted by the Byzantine Empire at that time. And they arrived from Shechem, from Nablus to here, and they burned this church. It was not completely damaged, destroyed, but was burned. And it was rebuilt again by Justinian. This church is also called the Justinian Church, because all what you see now comes back to 562. Original church, never been destroyed, never been changed, or never been abandoned by the Christians. From 562 it is the same and the very same church. And that's why it's considered to be the oldest church in the Holy Land. And the difference, all the other churches in the Holy Land were almost completely destroyed by the Persians in 614. when the Persians arrived here and they destroyed most of the churches, except for this one. Why? There's a reason. The tradition says, on the facade of the church, outside, there was an image of Melchior, Balthasar, and Gaspar. Who are they?
Melchior,
Who are they?
Magi.
The three kings. And in the Bible, we just heard that they came from the east. So most probably, they were from Persia as well. Persia, Iran, Babylon, all that area. And if there was an image, that means they were painted in their traditional clothes. The Persian soldiers, when they arrived here and they recognized their kings, they said, this place was visited by our kings. And that's what happened. This place was saved. At a difference of all the other churches in the Holy Land. All the other churches were completely destroyed. 638, the Muslims arrived. The Muslims all over the world, they do believe on the birth of Jesus Christ. Omar, who was the leader, he wanted to pray inside the church to honor the birth of Jesus. So he prayed, and there was a small mosque at the right corner over there. 1099, the Crusaders arrived. They changed the power another time. The authority came from the hands of the Muslims to the hands of the Crusaders, between brackets Christians. Finished the first crusade, and then they arrived the Muslims another time. They came back, and of course came and then the Mamluks, they were from Egypt and from Syria, until the Ottoman Empire, until 1517. 1517 until 1917, for 400 years, we have got the Turks, the Ottoman Empire in this area. I'm not going to tell you the details, but the most important thing that happened to this church during these 400 years was called the status quo. Please pay attention to that. Status quo, that means three important churches were divided between three important kinds of Christians in the world. The three important churches are the Nativity Church, the first one, the Holy Sepulchre in Jerusalem, and the Assumption of Virgin Mary, just close to the Gethsemane Church, the Dormition, which is called. Why these churches? Because they believe that these churches are the most important churches in the Holy Land. And who are the three communities who wanted to have their site, their pieces in that? First, the Greek Orthodox, with the biggest portions of all these churches. Then the Armenians Orthodox, and then the Catholics, the Roman Catholics. So, as for this church, how it was divided. All these churches is for the Greek Orthodox, except for the left corner is for the Armenians Orthodox. Down there, just close to the place of birth, which is called the manger. After he was born, he was put in a manger, right? The manger, 2 meters square for the Catholics. 2 square meters are not enough for the Catholics, of course, to do the parish. This church is also the parish for the Greek Orthodox in Bethlehem. The left corner of there is also the parish for the Armenian Orthodox of Bethlehem. But for the Catholics, who are more or less 700, 800 people, it's not enough 2 square meters to do the parish, baptisms, funerals, whatever, right? So they built another church for them, which is called St. Catherine from Alexandria, from Egypt. That's from where? Christmas Eve is broadcasted all over the world on the 24th December. Not from this church, but from St. Catherine Church. Now, what I would suggest, you go to visit the place of birth, which is the most important thing inside this church. And of course, 2 by 2, you can go slowly, touch, make your prayers, your intentions, whatever you want. And of course, Pastor Aries will take a picture for you. Okay?
Yes.
Have you got any questions? Was I clear?
Yes.
Good. Let's go.
Punta tayo dito ngayon sa kung saan nagpanganak si Jesus. Dito tayo dyan. Oh, yan dito yung station. Here we are guys, to the place where Jesus was born, inside the Church of Nativity here in Bethlehem.
Stay on the right side, 2 by 2, you can come here and touch.
Ayan, okay.
You want me to help? Maybe if you want to go over, I'll help you. If you want. If you feel okay, it doesn't matter.
Okay, Joy, halika rito, Joy. Si Sister Joy, pakisabi baba dito. O, next. O, dito si tingin dito. Ayan, okay. Okay. Sabahin niyo kung bakit daw tayo dito. Okay, tingin sis. Okay, video mo na lang dito dyan.
No, it is close to you.
Okay.
I don't know if it's open. Usually they close for good.
Okay, next. Okay, tingin lang dito. Yung may... Okay, pagkatapos may panganak dito, doon siya inilagay. You want to start in the Bible? Okay. Oh.
Hindi na kompleto sa dalawa. Oh, let's sing. Ay, hindi ko kabisado.
Okay.
Hindi ko. Yung
Huh?
lang set.
Joy to the world, the Lord is come. Let earth receive her King. Let every heart prepare the room. And heaven nature sing. And heaven nature sing. And heaven and nature sing. Oh, hanggang doon lang muna. Thank you. Merry Christmas in advance, mga kapatid. Okay. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. God bless sa bawat isa. You want more picture?
Yan guys, dito tayo ngayon sa loob ng church, dito sa harapan ito. Tingnan natin ang ganda, yung mga decoration, formation ng mga upuan. Talagang ma-amaze ka pagpunta ka at pag makita mo itong heritage site dito sa Church of Nativity dito sa Bethlehem. Okay guys, patuloy po lang tayong manood at i-enjoy po natin ang historical place and biblical place dito sa Bethlehem.
All the Catholics who are now in Bethlehem present, more or less 800, 750 people, not more. Maybe 850, I'm not sure about that. 2 square meters down there were not enough at all. So they decided to build another church for them, 1882, where there was an abandoned convent since the time of the last Crusaders in the Holy Land. When was that? 1265. So from 1265 to 1882, there was an abandoned convent over here. And they found an icon of Saint Catherine from Alexandria, from Egypt. And they decided to call this church Saint Catherine from Alexandria. Okay? And it became the parish of the Catholics of Bethlehem. Just beneath of the church, there are also three important caves. The first one is for Saint Jerome. Please have a look over here. Can you see this statue? It is Saint Jerome, who lived exactly here from 384 until his death, 420. 34 years of his life to translate the Holy Bible. All the Old Testament, 48 books. All the New Testament, 72 books, from Aramaic, Hebrew, and Greek into Latin, which was called the Vulgate. Why? Because the Latin language at that time was much easier for everybody to understand than Aramaic, than Hebrew, than Greek. So we say it, and the church says, Christianism was born again by the translation of Saint Jerome. Because everybody could read the Bible. And why it's called the Vulgate? Because it was written in the spoken language. Wasn't made perfect. It was made like this. So there is the cave of Saint Jerome, and there is also the cenotaph. Cenotaph, the empty tomb of Saint Jerome. Why empty? Because the relics of Saint Jerome, together with the original piece of the manger, they are still now in Santa Maria Maggiore in Rome. They were taken from here by the Crusaders, by the last 1265, and they took them to Santa Maria Maggiore in Rome. Until now, they are still in Rome. So there is the cave of Saint Jerome and the cenotaph, the empty tomb. From the other side, there is also the altar of Saint Joseph. Saint Joseph, that's when he remembered, and the angel appeared to him and told him, please, fly to Egypt, escape to Egypt. And just close to it, there is also another cave, which is called the Cemetery of the Holy Innocents. All the children who were killed by Herod the Great. There are more or less 35, 40 tombs for the children who were killed by Herod the Great over here. Just for your imagination and for your knowledge, St. Catherine Church, which is modern, 1882, and there is the cave of Saint Jerome since 384, the altar of Saint Joseph, and the cemetery of the Holy Innocents. Good? Any question? Was all clear?